Hello and welcome to In the Pocket. My name's Jonny.
And my name's Chris.
Two totally average bass players, and we're here to talk all about that bass, as well as answering your questions at home. Each week we take a look at the latest news and maybe break down some tones, all to give you the lowdown on the low end. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming returning podcast alumni from the past. You know him, you love him. It is Andrew, aka AMP, the bass player. Woo! Andrew.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me back.
Dude, of course. It's been long overdue. One thing we always love is having people back on and checking in and just continuing this conversation. It's always a great time.
Yeah.
The last time we left you, I think you were just about to go into or thinking about going into full-time bass playing. And this is now, what, 2 years on?
Yeah, just very close to 2 years. It was not a conscious decision. I very unexpectedly got laid off from my 9 to 5. And then I just said, all right, well, if it's ever going to happen for me, I better give it a go now. And yeah, 2 years. I didn't think I would still be doing it in 2 years, but here we are.
Well done. Still going. Chris obviously had a somewhat similar trajectory in being forced into the bass game full time. I mean,
I didn't choose the fug life. The fug life chose me.
Yeah. Wow, you were both chosen by the Lord to take on this mantle.
Same thing. Yep, exactly. We spoke just before we started recording. Exact same thing. I got made redundant from my job, and then I thought, oh well, I think I was 26 then, or 27, and I thought, well, I need to, if I'm not doing it, I'm not going to do it at 37, so I need to do it at 27. Like, just have a go.
Chris, I'm 37.
Well, and you look great. So there we go. But I thought, well, then again, okay, well, I'm not going to do it at 67. So,
Chris, I'm 67.
I'm not old. I'm 37.
30. We don't. Neither of us sound like that. Stop that right now. I just thought, well, I need to give it a go now. Before, at the time it was like I rented a flat. I was moving back in with my parents anyway, so it's like costs are low, responsibilities aren't super high. Parents. You have those, I know you do. And I thought, well, I'll just give it a go. So it's the exact same situation as you, Andrew. So well done on being 2 years in. I'm only a year ahead of you. Only been doing it a year longer. The lights are still on. The bills are paid for. I'm yet to discover why or how, but we're doing it. Yeah. We're doing it one day at a time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're kind of going into like the slow season though. Like I'm sure your summer has been much the same, but I was doing like 3 and up to like 5+ gigs a week, and it's been nuts. And I don't know how I've been juggling everything. But then like once the end of the month hits and we go into November is such a huge slump in the like the cover band thing, and it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. Get through the winter, hopefully.
I've said the start of every one of these podcast episodes has been Jonny saying, "How are you?" and I've been going tired. Exactly the same. Like, anywhere between 2 and 5 a week, fairly consistently since. Mm-hmm. It's been weird. I don't know what it's like in America, but normally I expect it to be silly from June to August. But this year, it's been like March to September. I think it's people, just because prices of things just seem to be going up, but we're not earning any more money. People are trying to get married a little bit further out of that stereotypical wedding season. Like, one of my friends is getting married next month in November. I'm getting married in October next year. It's like trying to stay. I mean, I'm not really having a normal wedding, but, staying out of that June, July, August hellscape. But yeah, I don't know about you, but my gigging schedule from last weekend, I had 2, which was obviously very nice. Nothing this week, which is lovely. And then for the next sort of 4 weeks, it's 1 a week. It's just a Friday or a Saturday. And then currently, I only have 2 gigs in December. More things will come in, but at the same time, it's like I don't know how you plan your year, but I sort of know these dips are coming, so I kind of like my spending doesn't go up with my income. You know, I keep it as low as I can all the time. So I've got backups in case where if for whatever reason, if no gigs come in from November to February, you know, if that December lift doesn't happen, because I'm assuming it's dead in January, February for you as well. Same over here in the cover band scene. I've got that covered, so I'm kind of in a position of like, okay, I'm not scared of the next 4 months because I've deliberately not, you know, when I'm gigging 12 days a month in September, it's like I've kept that squirreled away. But yeah, it's crazy. It's the fatigue. I don't know. You'll be the same. Like I said to Johnny, like I've been on 1 week. 2 weeks ago, I was on stage playing bass for 11 hours in like 4 days. And I was like, this is ridiculous.
They tried to get him off, but he just wouldn't. They're like, Chris, this ended hours ago.
He just keeps playing Saint Anger over and over again.
Damn.
No, but these were like all-day wedding gigs. These were like you played the ceremony, you play for an hour in the afternoon, then you play for 2 hours in the evening. You do that twice in a row. Then the day before you had a bar gig. The day after you've got another wedding. Like I don't know how these still work. Genuinely, like, yeah, I could punch through concrete with these 2 fingers, just like now. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know how you find it, but like my hands don't really get tired.
Oh no, mine
my like brain gets tired.
Oh,
or
okay.
like my feet get tired.
No,
because I don't know. There's a lot of just like it's just such a mental game for me at this point, and I feel like I've got my equipment dialed in so where everything is just like super comfortable, and like my shoulder doesn't really get sore anymore, but like my feet will if I'm standing for a long time. But yeah, mostly it's just like my brain like recalling tunes and improvising and all that kind of stuff. Like, so I feel like mentally tired at the end of gigs, way more so than physically tired.
I get physically tired depending on what I'm using. Like, I gigged my G3 Gibson for the first time at a festival, and that's when I was like, right, got to dial up the stage presence for this big stage, and chose the heaviest bass with the chunkiest neck to do it with. And I was like, oh my, like, couple songs in, like, oh jeez, damn.
It's worth saying as well though, Johnny, like me and Andrew do like gigs where we don't. I mean, I gig with the odd band where they want me to run around. Like, there's a couple of wedding bands that I play for where it's like they want the energy, and that's what they deliver. You know, like rock wedding bands. But most of the time, I'm assuming you're the same, Andrew. Just going off what your gig footage is like in your YouTube video, but a lot of it is like, you know, you're just doing the thing. You're just doing the job. You know, there's not like you're obviously performing. You know, I'm not saying you're not performing, but there's not like you're not expected to. Like your opera, the opera show you do is way more performative than like a wedding gig where you're like kind of just like, I'm just there, I'm just doing my bit. So 2 hours on stage doesn't feel too bad. The drive home is horrible. Like I always hate the drive home. I'll never enjoy that. But no, I'm not. No, my feet don't hurt. Shoulders don't hurt. I think going to the gym sorted the shoulder thing for me. Like there's just a bit more. There's a bit more stability in there because there's a bit of a frame built up. But what you want to do is buy Skechers Chelsea boots. That's my little tip for you there.
Skechers makes Chelsea?
Yep, and you can't tell. They're just normal looking Chelsea boots, but it's a memory foam inside. And that will change your life.
He transitioned into his 30s. Nearly 31 now he is.
31.
Going on 61.
I got these ready to go at any time.
to keep you young. Wow.
Exactly. Well, no, Skechers Chelsea boots will save your life as a wedding musician. I tell everyone. Yeah.
Well, speaking of tips, before we move on, Andrew, I wonder, wink. I wonder if you can give us a bit of a tip for listeners, for anyone that's thinking, because it's a unique perspective, of going for it full time and isn't sure what it's going to look like 2 years down the road, what advice would you give to that person?
Don't.
For goodness sake.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you.
Okay, well, no. I guess I should. Okay, this is not an easy way to make a go of it. I just don't think that if you, it doesn't make sense to like consciously like choose this as a career path. I don't think, because it's inconsistent. It relies heavily on your network and just what opportunities get presented to you. And just like what your local scene ends up like this is not a glamorous life at all, and it can eat you up if you're just not like quite up to snuff. So I highly encourage anybody who wants to do music as in like a professional capacity, keep your day job. It will be better if you keep your day job, because doing this full time is not easy.
But he's still going.
I've quite enjoyed it.
True. I mean, and I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I'm just saying that like there are much more reliable and consistent and profitable career paths. And for a lot of people, I find that like there's a guitar player that I work with occasionally, and I really, really like him. He's a great player, but he kind of does this thing where he'll like hit the gigs really, really hard for like 3 months, and then he just gets burnt out on it. Mm-hmm. And like burnout is such a real thing for this, because like for me, I just like playing bass. I don't care what kind of music I play. I'll do country, I'll do pop, I'll do funk, I'll do rock. Like I do everything because I just enjoy the process of playing bass. But a lot of people are like, well, I want to play the music that interests me. And if you want to do that, then like definitely do not become, a bass player for hire, because you're just going to have to play a lot of stuff that you don't care for.
Yeah, that you're not wrong. It's not an easy path, I'm sure. And anything that you'd like jump into off your own back, not saying that you're not forced into it, but I mean that is all self-employment and you doing it for yourself is never going to be an easy path.
And taxes are annoying when you do this.
Well, I bet
they take so much of your money when you're independent like this.
Yeah. What are they like?
So I hate to be a downer, but like that's the truth.
Let's continue how we mean to go on, shall we? With another downer.
Yeah.
And that is and that is that recent news has come out, and I wanted to cover this because this kind of came out a few weeks ago, or rumblings of it on the internet, and we didn't mention it on the podcast, but I wanted to talk about it now. I wanted to get your perspective as well, Andrew, and I'll explain why. Because rumor has it that G&L is facing closure, or has closed, in fact. I don't know how much you guys have seen about this. For the listeners, G&L is essentially one of the companies that Leo Fender started after leaving Fender. It was the last hurrah of ones he went and worked with Music Man, and then went and started, when he left that, G&L, that being George Fullerton and Leo Fender. The L stands for Leo. Wow.
Did not know that.
There you go. History. There you go. And they're primarily American-made instruments with an Indonesian-made line as well. I tend to see a lot more G&L basses than guitars, which obviously warms my soul and, makes me feel very, very happy. But it makes me feel equally as sad that they've suddenly disappeared or closed out of the blue, with employees being told when they turned up to work one day, sorry, you no longer have a job. No official press release has come out about this yet, but apparently G&L products have been pulled from shelves from retailers and from their site as well that you can no longer purchase from. The other rumor on it is that, or I don't know how much of this is based in truth or is based on just what people are assuming, is that Fender are stepping in to purchase G&L. I thought we could have a chat about this, chaps. Now, Andrew, you one of your custom basses from Seric is loosely designed, at least sonically, on a G&L, right?
Yeah, well, it not loosely. It is just an exact copy of an L2500. So it's just literally the
So
MFB pickups
nice.
and the exact same control layout. This is one of the few like active setups that I actually like connected with because it feels more passive than active. But yeah, it's literally just an L2500 that doesn't weigh as much.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Yeah, I remember the video. I remember the video you did on this where you had the sort of the influence bass and that Seric, and you went through all of the switches and explaining. What I really enjoyed about the video was how you didn't just go, "This is this," and you just played it. This is that. It was like kind of. It was almost like I use this switch when I need to do this, and then it would be gig footage of like a slap thing or a pick thing or like a when I've got the drive on, I like to use this, and it was like I enjoyed the practicality of that. But Johnny, you're like I didn't even realize this. Is how stupid I am. I didn't realize that yeah, I know. I didn't realize your Jag was active.
As they all are. Well,
I didn't know. I had no idea.
Traditionally, Jaguar
Yeah.
basses. Yeah.
No, I had no idea until I played it and went, hang on a minute. What? Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, great video. Lovely bass. I always see Seric and think of you. I don't think of anyone else, just think of you immediately.
Absolutely. Yeah, all the time.
Pay
so
this
good.
man, Seric. Pay this man.
Both of your customs are just chef kiss perfection.
Yeah.
With G&L, one of the features of those MFD pickups is that you can have an Allen key and raise and lower each of the magnets as well, right? Within there, which I think is a really cool feature. And G&L, it's evident that they were like the last
Hurrah.
Yeah, and combining all of these technologies and to accumulate in G&L at the end is evident with those electronics, for sure.
Yeah, like I think Leo Fender himself kind of felt like G&L was kind of the culmination of his work. It was all of his best ideas that kind of like came together, and it was like the final evolution, the Charizard of his three companies,
Absolutely.
And I think that that's absolutely true. Like Fender and Music Man both make incredible iconic basses, but G&L has always kind of just been this like kind of dark horse thing that like the people who know.
That's what I was going to say.
They've just always really struggled with the marketing aspect of things, and I think it just finally caught up to them.
Honestly, I think that is it, and they weren't able, specifically in the more affordable market, where there's probably a big lot of gains to be made with their tribute series, never really took off like your Squires or like your Sterlings. They never really competed on either end. And you're right, they were kind of like Yamaha in a way, where it's like everyone who has them loves them, but then they never really creep over that cream of the crop to the or trickle down to the everyman. You don't
see them. You don't see them in stores over here. I don't think I've ever. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a Yamaha really in a store either, unless it's like a specialty thing. But G&L, no, I don't think I've ever seen one. I don't think I've ever played one or even touched one ever.
I think that something that happens in just like the music industry is that we think these companies are bigger than they are. Like G&L, I think only employed like less than 50 people, like total for the entire company.
Wow!
And for them being such like a big name attached to Leo Fender, they just weren't that big.
Yeah, and it's the same with like brands like Sandberg as well. Tiny company, really, like in terms of workforce, not big at all. But people assume they're just these Goliaths. And perhaps that's why as well that they were never able to really. There might have been the demand, but they can't really meet it fast enough. Perhaps as well. But yeah, the marketing side is a tricky one because they never really got involved with like even like with like YouTubers and things like that, or they never. I never really saw anything outward facing from them that was from anyone else. Really, not often.
Well, here's a question. So, say that you were hired as like the marketing director for G&L, and they were still in business. Like, what's the strategy that you would employ to try and get the G&L name out there, to get people excited about the brand? Like, what would you do to approach that topic?
I'd sponsor In the Pocket podcast.
Well, I mean, you joke, but probably that they never really. I don't recall G&L ever engaging in. I mean, right, look, I'll call it influencer marketing. We'll call it that. I don't want to call it that, but like approaching YouTube channels like you, Andrew, like Johnny, to an extent, me, Patrick Hunter, all these kind of people. They never really did that. I don't recall ever seeing like, a real push in like the land of like short form content around G&L. It seems very like there was no attempt to engage with like the modern age kind of thing, compared to say like a Sire or a Harley Benton or anyone really. Because actually I just had a thought. You know what? I bet the issue probably was. I think there was probably some naivety around the fact of. So if you look at a brand like Fender or Music Man,
Oh, woof.
wow, someone doesn't like Fender. Show us the dog. Show us the dog.
If you're watching or listening on Spotify or Apple, now is a good time to head over to youtube.com/In the Pocket Podcast, where you can see the video version of this and experience the insane
dog content.
Yeah, dog content that we're consuming right now.
You smell so bad, Taco. Need a bath.
I was going to say then, I wonder if it's because brands that are related to G&L, like Music Man, Fender, don't really need to do that modern day marketing approach, because at the end of the day, it's Fender, it's Music Man. These brands are huge. The name alone is going to push doors open, but I don't think G&L ever got that same kind of gravitas.
No.
Even though
they have to work.
They had to work for it.
Hard.
Yeah, exactly. They had to work. They needed to work for it to get that name in front of people, and that just wasn't done. That's kind of how I sort of perceive it.
And artists,
yeah, it's like they were relying on like they made great stuff, and I think that they relied a little bit too heavily on just like, well, our product is so good, then like why should we have to work so hard to market it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, but if
our product should just speak for itself.
Yeah, but if it's the greatest bass in the world, but no one plays it, like, what are you going to do?
Well, and I remember one time I went to their website and they had their like featured artists section, and I was scrolling through there, and like Ed Friedland was literally the only name in there that I recognized.
That was the point that I was about to make. Was artists is a huge market they're missing out on, really. Like Tom Hamilton is on there. There's another one that we know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's it, really.
Not the only brand not doing that, by the way. Like Godam popped in my head. They don't really market. I mean, they market Rob from Metallica, who plays the acoustic bass once every 9 months. But apart from that,
but you look at like Fender, Jackson,
Gretsch.
They're all doing it to small bands. Like in the UK, the Fender showroom that we went to, Chris, they are so active with young bands and getting their guitars in their hands, and they just dominate because of that. But yeah, it's still a very sad day to see them go. But like I said, there are some things that I hope that if it is Fender that is taking them on to, bring back that namesake into the Fender company, I do want to see them incorporate that into some of their new products. I'm going to sideline quickly before we come back to G&L, because I do want to talk about Fender's most recent drop, and this is hot off the press. Okay, this came out yesterday at time of recording. I'm going to share my I'm going to share my screen quickly.
Yeah. Please do, because I deliberately didn't look at this because I had a funny feeling we'd be talking about it now.
Yeah. So after teasing for a little bit, they announced the American Professional Classic. More 3 random words just thrown together.
Tell me more.
So Fender have done a Fender, all right, and kind of released a brand new line without doing anything brand new at all, really. You can kind of sense where I'm going with this, in my opinion.
Oh,
but,
I already don't need to know what this is. It's going to be a whole lot of nothing, isn't it?
I mean, we've got essentially a Jaguar guitar, Strat, Tele, precision bass, jazz bass, and a Mustang bass, which we'll talk about.
No way. No way.
Which, nothing new and no weird pickup configurations here. All inspired by 50s and 60s finishes, new coastline pickups.
Oh,
whoa.
Shit the bed.
It's just so, it's like banging your head against a wall.
Holy American Professional Series, Batman. Tell me more.
Yeah. It's just a joke at this point, isn't it? And they're just living up to this stereotype that they just re-release the same thing again.
That Mustang is lovely, though. That Mustang is lovely.
I will say, I am here.
It's a little Jonny Dibble coated with the
white pickup,
the cream
yeah,
pickup.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's exactly why straight away I was like,
because they know you'll talk about this.
I will say, I don't dislike the look of these. Like, all finishes are good. Look at that fire mist gold on that jazz bass. Oh, yes, that's a great finish.
The maple neck red jazz bass is nice.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, but then why include Sunburst? They've just done the Player 2 in this exact finish and setup. It's just like, what are you doing? Like, if you're going to do something new,
I can pretend I'm Slash, Johnny, on stage. Come on.
I'll slash
Get
you
with
in a
the
minute.
program.
Here's a little bit of my insight here. I used to work at a music store, and anytime that you had guitars that were in offbeat colors, they were hard to sell. So, the Sunburst thing, it's like everybody, clowns on like Sunburst, like, oh, it's so like pedestrian, and everybody like has seen that a million times before. Musicians keep buying them.
It's true. And same with black guitars. And like we've had discussions about t-shirts, like black t-shirts sell because it's kind of goes with everything and everyone more people can enjoy that.
My first guitar was Sunburst.
Yeah. I'm doing a custom at the minute. It's going to be Sunburst. And
lame.
I know, right? But this Sherwood green I want to talk about because that is on this Mustang here, in particular with the black pickguard and the TLR. That's a look. I'm torn between that and the Dakota Red. Sorry, faded Dakota Red.
If I may, I prefer the Sherwood green personally. That is lovely.
That's fine.
And that's quite nice too. That's quite nice. I take it back. If I may interject, gentlemen, just briefly.
We are gentlemen.
Thank you. What on earth is that price tag? What on earth? What on earth? I'm sorry. I don't. Stop acting like it being made in America is a good thing because it's not anymore. Sorry.
That is it. So they're teeing this up as they're like, oh, this is the new entry level American range, which I'm assuming is replacing the American Performer stage one, which they just keep re-releasing the same thing but more confusing and upping the price.
You can't call it entry level and charge that much.
It's the cheapest. Right, let me say that the cheapest American made stuff now. That's their bottom line. So it sits between the American Pro 2, American Pro stuff, and the Player 2 stuff. No doubt they'll do a big hype up and do the American Professional Classic 2 down the line as well.
Probably. And it'll be the same. This is Donald's fault. I blame Donald.
Always. I will say, before I say, Andrew, would you buy one of these?
Not right now. I mean, by all accounts, this is a really nice bass. I like red. Red's my whole thing. I like the lollipop tuners.
Yeah.
You don't see those too often on production basses these days. But yeah, like I don't
Yeah.
know. I've just been so like disinterested in gear in general lately, and this isn't gonna change that for me. It's like
No,
eh.
I agree, and I feel like they could have done something really fun here, or something new. That would have been at least interesting. Like they're sitting on a lot of stuff that could have been a lot of fun.
Johnny, you've had your fun Fender thing. We've had the £15,000 ring modulator, half fretless jazz bass that doesn't look anything like a jazz bass. You've had now, little girl. You've had your fun bit. Sit down.
Yeah.
That's a Nigel Farage reference. I do apologise. That'll be lost on Andrew.
But they're my mummy said you hate Fenders.
I'll send that to you, Andrew. You'll love that. My mummy said.
Oh yeah.
But the Mustang gave me hope because I thought like, oh, they're going to do like some weird offsets. Please do a Jaguar, give us an American Jaguar again. That'd be cool. But then to just do a standard P&J is a bit, ugh. The Mustang, I keep harping on about it, but I'll give them this. In every demo I've heard of it, it sounds great.
What's the pickup that's in it?
It's a Mustang pickup.
It's just like
I don't know.
No more information than that.
Well, it's their new Coastline pickups, so that's all I know. Which they say is. Well, hang on, Alnico, which I'll look up whilst you kind of discuss that as well. Do you want to hear some opinions? I put out a poll on Instagram about this, and people had a lot to say.
Oh, absolutely! Please.
Yeah. Someone said, cool that Turnstile was in the video, but kind of boring lineup. Yep. Trying to invent the wheel gets boring sometimes. Patrick Hunter said,
Dude,
yep, it's a Fender.
Fender's marketing team, just like going back to the marketing, that they're able to just like make these super exciting videos to sell you the same shit that they've been doing for 50 years. Like that this is why Fender succeeds, because they have one thing and they can just keep selling it to you over and over
Forever
and over
and
again.
ever.
Their marketing team is bar none.
And
the
at this
jazz
rate,
bass, the iPhone,
at this rate, at this rate, they just use Squire as their R&D department, and just do all the weird stuff through that. That worked, did it? Okay, let's just do it on the Fender stuff then.
For me,
I don't mind that. That does make Squire a more exciting
And I've
brand,
always
though.
said that Squire, I way prefer over Fender for that pure fact that they're just so exciting in comparison.
Agreed. It's almost, I don't know. Feel free to disagree with me on this, but the turnstile inclusion in the video almost backfires for me as a consumer, because it's almost like well, of course you've used the band that's like obviously been around for a long time. Obviously Turnstile have been around for ages, but just exploded on TikTok in the last couple of months, like just seemingly out of nowhere. So it's almost like you've tried to be cool, but then been like really uncool, because it's like someone's dad has just asked their teenage daughter, what band do you like? And they've gone, well, I like Turnstile. And they've gone, oh, well, we'll get Turnstile in the promotional video then. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're naive to it. Like, it's obviously very much on purpose, but people were like getting excited because the picture was Franz from Turnstile, like in silhouette, and everyone was like, oh, it's going to be a signature model or something like that. And then when this dropped, everyone went, oh.
Do you reckon if you bought this, you can actually only play the riff, or the bass like just renders itself completely like unplayable?
I think so. It just collapses. I want to see like this, the closure of G&L with Whispers of Fender taking them, and then the release of this made me think like, oh, what could be in the future? What new could this inquiry of G&L be good for Fender? Not just because they've got all this stock, but if they dissolved G&L as a brand, could they then bring out some new Fender models kind of inspired by Fender's or Leo's later creations? Could we see MFD pickups in Fenders? Could we see that interesting preamp system, or like neck profiles and things like that? That got me a little bit more excited, or even maybe some of the body shapes. I'm just going to share my screen on G&L's site. This is their tribute series where it gives you a bit of a flavor for what they were doing. Nothing kind of too crazy, but I'd love to see a Fallout come to like a Squire or something like that. To replace
The screen
Bronco.
hasn't changed, Johnny.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, you're going to have to just
Sorry.
imagine.
I'm sorry.
I'm imagining.
Yeah, hang on. Flip. I've tapped it about 7 times now.
Something I was thinking about when you're talking about that is it remains to be seen whether Fender will just kind of absorb the G&L like technology and start releasing Fenders with that stuff, or if they will kind of keep G&L as like a legacy brand sort of a thing and like keep them separate. And I just don't know like which one is going to be the right.
I fear it
decision
will be
for
the
him.
second one, or we'll get one interesting Squire with the really cool G&L pickup configurations and stuff, and they'll never do it with Fender.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be cool to have like the I don't know what they would call it, the Fullerton series of Fenders that are all basically G&Ls. I don't know, from a marketing perspective, it's probably smarter for the encourage more sales if it's got Fender on the headstock at the end of the day. But I don't know how much, depending on the issue and why G&L actually closed, do they have the resource and the capability and the manpower to take it on and revive it and keep it going, or drag it along a dead horse, or do they just absorb it and take what's good about them and incorporate it into what they've got? Don't have the answer, but it could be exciting. On this bad news, it could be good. Who knows? Who knows? Well, chaps, I personally would love to see this Killerton as well with this single Music Man pickup move over. Have we got any particular highlights of G&L basses before we move on?
It just looks like weird Fender to me, to be honest with you.
Well, maybe that's why they failed.
Maybe.
There is a local band around here, and the front woman bass player uses a G&L L1000, I think, and it's in this like gold sparkle. Looks killer, and she's a good bass player. Yeah,
Like this. Hang on. Oh yeah, they've taken it all off the bloody website.
Oh, that's nice. There was a telly style bass there with 2 big humbuckers before that looked quite nice.
Yeah, like give us.
I have a drummer friend that has one of those, and he says it neck dives like crazy.
Really? But they could fix that, surely. I can't imagine like
Come on,
those
Fender,
horns
you
are
can
doing
do
that
it.
much. You can do it, Fender. You got this. Yeah, it's strange. And Ian Martin Allison got a custom Ace bass, didn't he? Like earlier this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If he could do that, they could do it, I believe. Right.
That's quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy that quite a lot. Telecaster body shapes on bass are slept on, I'd say. Something that is also not slept on, should I say, is Gallien Krueger. Okay. And I want to talk about them now. Specifically, Andrew, your bass tone off the charts recently. It's been so good. And you have been working with Gallien Krueger on some videos recently. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to have a listen in just a minute to the return of That Tone You Own, one of my favorite segments where we listen to our guest's tone. And you've very kindly brought along, some GK sound samples for us to listen to, taken from a recent video that you've done. What is it that you enjoy the most about your kind of amp setup at the minute? And explain it to the audience.
Okay, well, first of all, my whole setup has just gotten so expensive, and that fact is not lost on me. And I'm playing this very nice custom bass. I'm playing this beautiful GK amp that was given to me by the company, and I feel like when you just throw a bunch of money at shit, just like it sounds good. Like
He's
I
a
don't know.
bougie bitch.
I know. I feel like I've come in a different direction than I ever thought I would, because I gigged on like a Squier Classic Vibe P bass for a long time. That was just kind of my number one bass, and so to go from just like the Squier and the Rumble to where I'm at now, it just seems like such a try hard sort of rig. but I can't deny that it sounds really good. Like the GK stuff is just so precise and how it reproduces sound, and the way that they do that EQ, it's just like when you have a typical EQ on a bass, you typically will just like make little adjustments here because like a little goes a long way. But with the GK amp, you can just crank that and it just continues to sound good no matter what you do with it. It takes a little bit of like rewiring in my brain to be like, oh well, I just need a little bit more. But it's like, nah, just like put it at 3 o'clock. Why not?
Yeah. Do it. Why not? And which amp is it specifically that you're using live at the minute? So you're using like a combo and then an extension.
Yeah. So it's the Legacy 112, and they also sent me a 112 extension cabinet with it. I've only trotted it out a handful of times because it's just so loud all by itself. Because the combo without an extension cabinet does 400 watts, which is crazy. And then you put the extension cabinet on it and it doubles to 800. And I don't know like how the physics of that work, because that is just so absurd. Because you compare it to something like the amp that I was using before, the Ampeg RB 210, and it's 250 watts just the combo by itself, and then doubles to 500 with an extension cabinet, which is the smaller amp is so much more powerful. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And that's the size is what shocks me, really. That is what she said. Because you know, there's so much power. You see it and you're like, no, that looks like a little practice amp. That's tiny. And that's 400 watts. Like, that's perfectly giggable by itself, you know, and to extend it with not that much foot space being taken up is amazing, I think. And
it's so nice for gigging because you just throw it around. It like fits in my car super well. Like, it's been awesome.
Nice.
Like I was kind of like, when that package showed up, I was just like, oh yeah, that's here, and I got to do that video and whatever. And then as soon as I started like taking it out, I was like, I'm never playing anything else.
Oh, I love moments like that. That's great. And what is it about that kind of signature Gallien Krueger sound? How would you describe it, and why do you like it?
It just has a clarity at like every frequency range. And I feel like with a lot of other amps, I'm constantly like cutting bass and boosting mids so that I can actually hear what things sound like. And with the GK, like it just has this unbelievable clarity to it, but it's not like clinical and clean. Like it still has like a flavor and a color to it that I just really like. And I've actually like I mentioned I use that the GK plugin in my DAW because they have a plugin that they worked with Brainworks on, and it sounds identical to the amp.
Ooh.
And it's so good. Nice. Highly recommend. I think I got it on sale for like $20 and I was like, that's it.
Ooh. That's getting away with
really like the plugin. That's the cheapest way you'll ever get into a GK.
Yeah, right. Damn. That's awesome. They've just re-released as well that the like re-release of the RB, which has got like a built-in cab sim and stuff. Oh my God, I'd really love to have one of those. But for now, let's have a listen to yourself in action on those very cabs. Sounds so good. GK is like my go-to stuff for everything that I do in terms of like on the Line 6 stuff, and for every single demo, all of my amps in is always the Gallien Krueger head with an Ampeg cab. It just, you're so right. I was like, I hadn't thought about it that way, but that is a perfect way to describe it. When every frequency is like, you can really feel it. And it sounds high quality, and if you can get an amp and it sounds amazing on just everything's on 12, you're winning. I've had products before when you can only use, like, okay, dark glass. I love some of or most of what you do. However, I had a combo from them, and you could not get it to sound like a normal, like a real amp. Like, and that wasn't like, this is the analog one. You couldn't get it to sound like just kind of tubey, warm sound that I wanted out of an amp. At all, unless you absolutely cranked certain EQs. And I was like, that just gives you no room to play with. And if, strings are a little dead or it's too zingy, like you've got nothing to do there. And you're at the maximum or the minimum of each of those frequency ranges. So it's always a good sign if you don't have to do much tweaking and it sounds great, which sounds like with the GK, that is very much the case.
Yeah, and it's hard to separate yourself as a player from the gear you use sometime, and I feel like you're like really made in the shade when the gear just sort of disappears and you're just like pure expression. Like this is just like me, the artist, just coming out of the speaker, and I don't have to think about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. And some players, like what was it? Flea was a big user of GK back in the day, wasn't he? Does he still use that? I don't know, but
no,
he switched over to
he's gone to Ampeg now.
Ago.
Yeah,
I remember that now. I remember, yeah, like, and I always think of that as well. Like, it's very transparent at the same time as sounding just really good, because sometimes things can sound clean and too clinical, but you're right, it's still got character whilst not taking over the entire tone. I'll reference Dark Glass again. Sorry. It does just become that sound sometimes. That's why the products like the Anagram's a bit better, because you can tweak it and it's got influences from other products that allows you to make a sound that's more you, or enables more of you to come through rather than just kick it on and you're gone. It's just like that is 100% of the sound now. But yeah, I'm a big fan of GK, so I could talk about them all day.
I'm pretty excited because, like I said, I almost never take that extension cabinet anywhere. But we're doing our the rock opera that I've talked about before. We have our shows Monday and Tuesday next week, and just for the look alone, I'm gonna bring the extension cabinet. I don't think it'll be necessary, but I just want the little like mini stack behind me, so I'm gonna bring it. So I'm kind of excited to trot that out.
Hell yeah. That's going to be incredible. It's always good to have in the back pocket should we need it. Speaking of things that are really cool and that we love, I'm going to go on to now to talk about our tier 3 patrons, if you don't mind, gents. If you didn't know already, we have a couple of tiers on Patreon, and that one of those tiers involves giving a shout out to the lovely people within it. Before I do that, Chris, would you mind giving the lovely people a lowdown of what tiers you can find and rewards you can get at patreon.com/inthepocket podcast?
Oh my goodness, I'd love to. So we have 3 tiers on the In the Pocket Patreon. The first one is for £1 or $1 a month. That is just a little thank you from you to us, from us to you. No, from you to us. There we go. There's no extras for that. That's just a little bit of money that goes a long way. So if you like what you see and you just want to give us just a little bit where you can, that is very much appreciated. Then in tier 2, I've corpsed. Tier 2 grants you access to our Patreon only section, which we will be doing at the end of this episode with Andrew. There we do everything from little Q&As with our guests that you can submit through to extra topics that we want to talk about but might not necessarily have time to in the main episode. And the big advantage of that is if you are a tier 2 patron member, and you have a question for a guest, you will always get your question answered, which is very, very nice indeed. Then finally, the top tier grants you everything we've just talked about, but it also gives you a shout out in each episode, which Jonny is going to do now, which I always enjoy watching him struggle through. And you get entered into our monthly giveaways. Jonny, what is our current monthly giveaway? And also, just how bad was that line delivery then? That was awful. Like, wow. The stumbling was real.
I think that was great, mate.
Good.
For this week, we are giving away a wonderful little pedal from our friends over at Ashdown. This is the Nate Mendel, now rare, #rare pedal. This is a dual drive from the Foo Fighters bassist. So essentially you've got two different flavors of drive that you can enable to kind of have two different stages of gain, if you like, on there. It's a great pedal and hard to get hold of nowadays. So make sure you click the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube to go and find out how you can join, and you'll automatically be entered into that competition. The people that are automatically entered at the moment are One Blade of Grass. Oh, okay, that's it, I guess. One Blade of Grass, Andy McMillan, John Patton, Peter Sillery, Tinder, Carlos Bonas, Jim Goldstein, Tom Kuistra, Daniel McColgan, Frank Bethel, Sam Martins, Travis Williams, Kadishti Radish, Eric Molyneux, Charles Johnson, Daryl Hazelhurst Jevons, Alan Wadey, Alexander Shawn, Ethan Eichhorn, Justin A., Jonas on bass, Joost Kroon, Mark W., and Brett Linkowski. Thank you very much, everybody. You wonderful, wonderful top tier patrons. Stay tuned to when in a couple of episodes' time when we announce that winner live on the show. Thank you very much, chaps. Shall we move on to the main bit or the title of this episode that we're going to be talking about? And that is about bass inspo, favorite players, inspirations, people that got us to pick up the instrument in the first place, perhaps. I thought it would be fun for us to kind of go through and have Andrew on to talk about influences and things like that. Because we thought it'd be a fun time. I think
you thought right.
Well, it was actually Chris. I was taking all the credit there, but it was Chris was the one who came up with this one.
It's quite all right. I was more laughing that we've got 50 minutes into an episode to then talk about what we were going to call the main part of the episode. Can't wait for that comment section.
Yeah, well, my answer is all Chris Horrocks, so mine will be pretty short. We're going to go, in no particular order, I feel like. I don't know if anyone's got an order of these or that they've thought about. But I think we should just go one at a time and just go through that way. So it's a top three, but you don't have to say where they are in your rankings, I reckon. To kick things off, Andrew, would you like to go first with a name that comes to mind?
Oh, I would not be a bass player at all were it not for Tony Kanal of No Doubt. But specifically Tragic Kingdom. That album, I borrowed my sister's car and she had that CD in the CD player, and I listened to that album over and over and over again, just because back in the day you didn't have access to all the music. You just had that binder of CDs in the car.
No way.
But yeah, I know, right? Crazy times. But yeah, I listened to that album over and over and over again, and I was like, the bass in this is so sick. Do I love bass now? I do. I've got to learn all of these songs. So yeah, Tony Kanal is so good on that record specifically. Like, he's a good bass player in general, but that record made such an impression on me early on that I can't broach this topic without mentioning him.
Absolutely, and that totally makes it a valid answer, I think, because I feel like even though he is an amazing player, almost sometimes players don't have to be like incredibly showy to be an inspiration to you all the time. It's certainly the case with me some of the times. I love the bass tone of that era. It's so clean and in the mix is separated so much from everything else that you can really hear what's going on. And that's why some of those bass lines you can really pick up on, especially with No Doubt stuff. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rocking that Yamaha PJ with the blade pickups. Such a vibe.
BBs will always be in my heart. I love them. So good. Chris, do you want to go forth with our next one?
I'll start as I mean to go on, given it's the choice of T-shirt I've had for today's recording. I simply cannot list anyone else other than Jason Newsted, formerly of Metallica, as a bass influence. My favorite albums are all like my favorite Metallica albums are all like Jason Newsted era, even And Justice for All, which you can't hear him play. but yeah, I just found as I got into like the instrument and all my like in terms of like the performance side, I seem to find myself like taking influence from like players like Jason Newsted and people really similar. Just like I've always been like a really like aggressive pick player. I think that's probably from being a guitarist originally as well, and then having like a massive Metallica influence as a guitar player, and that's carried over into bass. You know, playing like I can just down pick quickly for ages and ages and ages. It's just something it's just literally been drilled into me for ages, decades probably by this point. And yeah, Jason Newsted is the best Metallica bass player. The tone, the Black Album bass tone is like holy grail. Everything you've got, everything from the big silly alembic basses through to the Mesa Boogie 400 pluses, the SVTs, like the backing vocals in Metallica, the stage presence. He's a really grumpy, sour bass player like me. Like it's all there. It's all there. So I think I've got to give him the spot number one in our little top three list. Johnny, go on.
I was just gonna say, I love that you called out his backing vocals. Like that is such a great asset to bring to a band in general. If I could loop back to my what advice I would give to people who want to do bass as a career, it's learn to sing.
Yeah.
That is such an important thing to have. It adds this production quality to the group. Yeah, so be like Jason. Learn to sing.
Be more Jason. I couldn't agree more. I've always been like a little bit backing vocally with the work I get, but then a couple of weeks ago we had like an emergency and I had to sing the entire set like on lead vocals. And ever since doing that, like everyone who has hired me before has sort of come out of the woodwork and been like, "Can you sing?" I'm like, well, I did a gig as a singer, so maybe I guess I can. And then that's put me forward for more work for next year. Not even as the backing, not even as the lead vocalist, but oh, well, now we know you can definitely do backing vocals. Right, well, we definitely want you for these. And then, a lot of people have been like, oh, well, we definitely want you now. Now we know that ability is there. So I totally agree. I totally agree with you. I think, yeah.
As a member of the bands that's often threatened the most by getting put on a backing track, it's such a valuable thing to bring. You're totally right. Anything that can add value is perfect.
I know, it's unfair, but yeah, it's what we've got to do.
For me, my first one of this list, I'll start with the first one that I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And that is Jeremy Davis of Paramore. Favorite band, therefore was by default my favorite bass player that I was obsessed with. And just the perfect example of what I then aspired to be, of a person that was a perfect supporting role, but absolutely threw in these little licks and bits of flavor that never got noticed, but added so much, by maybe like a normal person.
Maybe that was part of the problem. Never got noticed.
Yeah. Nowadays, oh my God, he has taken such a turn. Oh my God. Like,
no, you don't listen to his rap stuff.
That's the problem.
Man.
I do.
Pardon? What have I? Can I just first also my backup light has died, so now I've got very dramatic silhouettes. What? Spill the tea. What's been going on with Jeremy Davis lately?
Well,
he got fired from Paramore, and then he had
Well,
like
yeah,
a little
I know that part, and then he sued them because it was something like you didn't credit me as like a writer on anything ever, or something close to that. Yeah,
he seems like a totally. I mean, I don't know the guy obviously, but he's like from interviews compared when you look at him now, he seems like a totally different person, and it breaks my heart. I'm like,
oh no,
God, this guy like that I really aspired to be like. I was like, this guy's great, so cool. And he's playing that Gibson G3. That's where that kind of love came from as well. And I was like, this is amazing. And then now I'll see if I can get some of the artwork for his singles because
oh no,
you look at it and you go, is this ironic? And it's
I'm
not. It's
scared
not.
now.
It's not. But yeah, I'll try and find it as I go through because it's proving to be a bit challenging.
Oh no! I mean, maybe it's just a 180 reaction because the Paramore fallout to do with him was very public and very vocal. I mean, there we go. My submission for this list and Johnny's are both bass players who've really fallen out with the band. But that being said, Metallica have like gone back in recent years and sort of said like we didn't treat him like as well as we should have, and you know, all that sort of stuff. But I mean, I don't know your thoughts on this, Andrew, but me and Johnny have decided that Paramore Reading and Leeds Festival, is that 2014, Johnny?
Yes.
2014, the greatest live bass tone of all time.
Oh my God.
I have to go check that out.
Oh, right. Well,
I don't
there's
think
a bit where they play Decode, you know, the Twilight song.
Yeah.
And before it starts with like the little ambient guitar part, a little lead arpeggio bit, clean. And then before the rest of the band and the first verse comes in, Jeremy comes in just chugging the root note. And it's like Ashdown ABM, G3, Dark Glass, like B7K. It's just dun 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 dun. And it's honestly, when you find it, you'll literally do this. It's
really
the
good.
perfect, like, it's, you know, you give it the face, you know, the proper, like, it's great. He's looking it up already. Can we get a live reaction?
I can't find this artwork.
He said Reading 2014.
Reading 2014, Decode. Share your screen. Oh, no, you won't be allowed to, Johnny. You'll have to do it.
It's all right. It's I'll try and put it in, although I don't know if it's going to if YouTube's going to like us sharing that.
Okay, dead that we're not editing out. We're not editing it out. But yeah, have a look at it. It's honestly fantastic. It really is.
I don't need a single reason to watch more Paramore stuff.
It's totally fair. It's totally fair. Do you want me to do my second one on the list?
Yes, please.
Well, so we'll rewind back to Lil Chris, R.I.P. When I was a kid, not really from a musical family, really. Like my mum and dad listened to music, but there's no musicians in the family at all. There's just me. And my dad had an iPod Nano, which was like an 8 gig iPod Nano, and that would plug in to our Vauxhall Corsa via the aux cable. And remember those kids? And he only had he had the same playlist that he bought on iTunes. Yeah, bought, not streamed, bought. And there were a couple of songs on there that he always used to listen to. Like there was Feel Good Inc. by Gorillaz, Walk Into the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. And what I'm getting to here is Another Day in Paradise by Phil Collins. Great song. Fast forward years and years and years. I'm a working bass player and all that jazz. And I come back around and I discover the submission number 2 for this list of my sort of most influential bass players that I keep coming back to is Lee Sklar. For the
bass wizard himself.
Bass wizard himself. Everything I want to be in my 70s, beard included. I've got the Dingwall, I just need the beard.
Yeah.
But keep coming back to players like Lee because I think they're just everything you want to be as a working bass player. You know, they absolutely smash it out of the park. You don't even know they're there half the time. Like Lee, never oversteps the mark, but still plays absolutely amazing bass lines, like especially with his work with Phil Collins. Absolutely, like Sussudio, doubling the bass synth line, all that kind of thing. But when you listen to the bass line in Another Day in Paradise, it's just got this excellent, like, you play the root, we slide up, we go up to the octave, then we do like the fifth, then we climb back down, then we repeat. And when you listen to the song and you're listening for the bass part, you notice like he never plays while the vocal is playing. It's like the vocal plays, there's a little gap, and that's where the line into the next chord comes. And it's just so like orchestrated. And I just really like the guy's approach to bassline creation and tone. Like I was just watching, excuse me, I was just watching an interview with him and Nolly for Dingwall. Sat in Peter Gabriel's studio, and he was saying like he runs the bass in this settings, he has the bass all the way up, doesn't touch the mid, never touches the treble, he never uses effects, it's always like a DI straight in. Sound engineers love him because he's like, yeah, I'm just using this tone for the next like hour and a half on stage, and they're all like, thank you so much. And I'm just like, oh, that's what I need to be doing. Like on my working gigs now, I've really dragged back my use of like effects and tones and stuff. It's now rapidly moving towards like just a nice DI sound. I'm contemplating doing the whole frequency crossover thing at the moment, but not to use effects, just to have like a nice compressed low end that's super consistent, never changes, and just don't use any effects, just kind of nice. Oh, what would WWLD? What would Lee do?
Always remember that.
Exactly.
Always.
I feel
that's the number 2 list.
Nice. I think Mr. Sklar is a bass player we should all aspire to be like, and just seems like a really nice guy as well, which is cool. It's always good.
It does.
Well, being likable will get you pretty far in the music world.
That's where I'm going wrong. Well, no, when we had Shay from Gorillaz on, like he said, like your hard skills get you the gig, your soft skills keep you the gig. Like it's those little things like punctuality, friendliness, you're remembering people's names, paying invoices promptly, sending invoices promptly. It's these, these little bits, like, if like it's even little things like if you're going to the bar to get a drink, I don't drink when I'm gigging, but like a soft drink, get a pint of tap water and just give it to the singer. Just do those little things. Like those things in my experience have really added up towards like repeat business with people. Like I said, I've said to the people on this podcast, the best bass player doesn't get the gig. Like I get the gig and I'm not the best bass player.
Yeah.
But it's all these little things that I think that come together to kind of, and Lee Sklar's a great example of that, but also he is kind of like the best bass player as well. So it's kind of like a real deadly combination there.
Andrew, what are you saying for number 2?
Oh, number 2. Let me give you a twofer, because I feel like the way that I play is really influenced by Joe Dart. But what I've realized is that the influence goes beyond Joe Dart, because he's influenced by Rocco Prestia of Tower of Power. And Rocco was amazing. And it's like that lineage, when you start to like explore your influences, you go, oh, that's where that comes from. So yeah. Rocco / Joe Dart.
That's really interesting. I'll blend that into my one as well, because I was going to use this as my last one, but Joe Dart is on my list as well as a player that really speaks through the instrument, like really like call and response style playing, and like all these lines and pops that just perfectly flow every time. And he's one of the only players that can be showy without it being too much. And it doesn't sound like just all like, how many notes can I fit in here? It's all really well thought out and all, it sounds silly to say, but very musical. It all flows perfectly. And he could do something that isn't that difficult. And it fits in that pocket so well every time. And you're totally right with the influence. I've not yet gone back to listen to that because I watched the really good video that Scott's Bass Lessons did, actually, the interview with him, where he was talking all about that and all about like the specifics of Rocco's playing, and how that, he brought that into what he was doing, and how, doing all these like 16th notes as well, like how he practiced that was all through that. And yeah, I've yet to go back and listen, but I think that's a great shout, and that is my number 2 as well.
Something that I feel like is worth pointing out here too. So Joe Dart's kind of signature thing is that bridge pickup sound, which I find that a lot of people really don't care for when they do it, but they sure do like it when Joe Dart does it.
Yeah.
I've literally thought for a long time, like, I need to make a video because I can see the thumbnail. It's like learning to love your bridge pickup, because I know a lot of bass players don't.
Yeah, I'm one of them. As
like,
a jazz single coil, I'm like, oh,
it's time to make the bridge pickup great again.
But it's for sure, like, it's that, because obviously he's using flats and rolling. The tone is very muted. It's that kind of thump and staccato thing that makes that bridge pickup work. Whereas like a lot of the stuff, like rock stuff, like I'd be doing, like, it just never really works. It's almost too harsh sometimes without enough of the bottom ends that you want.
There is that. I mean, you're right. It doesn't show up very often, but there is that one Nirvana song, and I'm blanking on which one it is.
Smells Like Teen Spirit.
But Chris Novoselic. No, it's not. Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Breed.
But there is one song on that album where he is very clearly using the bridge pickup. So it's like, you can do it. You just have to like
embrace.
Just have to go all in.
Yeah. It's never been a sound that I've ever connected with. But you're right, until like you hear people like Joe Dart and, obviously classically Jacko, the person that used that bridge pickup with a tone kind of rolling it off. So yeah, I think that you can get great sounds out of it, but it's just how you apply them. At the end of the day, and Joe Dart is the master of applying that, and makes me want to pick up and play, and that's always a good sign for a bass player.
Yeah,
very well said there. And because you mentioned SBL there, I wish I'd said Sean Hurley now. Like, I've just finished the Sean Hurley long form interview. That's so good.
I thought he was going to be in your list. Well, I think I know.
No, you don't. You don't, actually, because if it was going to be, I couldn't. If I'd had a minute to think, I probably would have done Sean Hurley over Lee Sklar. But both of those players fall in the same kind of category of like the number 2 spot on the list I'm talking about. It's kind of like just really, really outstanding working bass player. Just really doing that what I like to call the best supporting actor role. And the Sean Hurley interview on SBL is fantastic because it's like, I think there's I related a lot to his journey of kind of like big, silly, active 5 strings. And then over time, he's sort of slowly found his way to the P bass with flats. He only really brings a drive and the Noble DI and the tuner, and that kind of gets him going for everything he needs. Like, he plays for John Mayer. Like, I fucking love John Mayer as a songwriter and everything, really enjoy him. But then, and like Pino could fall under that. The Guy Pratt is like an honorable mention for me as well. But they're all like that working bass player kind of thing. And I think if you're going to put one person at the top of that list, you kind of just like have to put Lee Sklar as like the main guy, because he's kind of like, in terms of like living and still working, the GOAT session bassist, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it? Am I doing my last one now, or do you want to do yours?
I think. Well, did we mess up the order a little bit? I think.
We did. We did.
That's fine, Andrew. Let's get it back on track. If you give us your last one.
Third and final. So I'd probably have to give it to Chris Wolstenholme. So when I was very first like starting to play out with a band, and I was like, what else can bass do? It was like, oh, it can sound like a lot of different things. I got to buy all these effects and sound boxes so that I can sound like this guy. And like these days, a lot of my gigs, I'm literally just showing up with a tuner and an amp and a bass, and that's it. But like, man, I cannot deny the influence of like wanting to use a lot of effects and doing like the really synthy octave fuzz thing. Like, I just love how he builds songs around tones. Like those textures that he's coming up with they're just so necessary to performing that
Yeah.
music, and I always loved that about him as a bass player.
There's certain players that just absolutely carry that and carry the band through that as well, like that can really create a sound like, well, just like you said, like create a sound that writes the music for them. That's why I love having lots of basses and like being able to pick up different ones and play, because I'm like, oh, this inspires me to play this way, or like I like a P bass for flats to have a fat ass neck, you know, because it inspires this to come out, and those sounds and textures is half of why we love what we do. So 100%. I think that's a great one. We've got a very
Agreed.
diverse list
Agreed.
going on here. I like it for different reasons.
We
It's cool.
have. Johnny, do you want to do yours?
I'll do mine. Yeah, you can finish off. One thing that we were saying earlier about like someone speaking through an instrument and being the first player for me to realize like, oh shit, like you can actually do a lot and stand out. Was one. I take it back. I was in my parents' car at the time, and I burnt a CD with some songs I'd been recommended.
No idea.
I put it in, and one of those bands. I don't actually love the band that much, but was Red Hot Chili Peppers. I got to give it to Flea for this one, because never before had I heard bass be so forward and loud and aggressive whilst being able to tame it back as well. Such a fundamental part of that band, and insane player that isn't afraid to sit back in places as well. Someone like that would have the tendency to be like crazy all the time, and you know, given his stage presence and what he does, like is wild. But then for some sections, it's very simple stuff. But then other stuff, absolutely bonkers, and definitely has his own flavor and technique that stood out to me very, very immediately. So yeah,
I feel like
oh, Chris is gone.
No, I'm still here. Sorry, my microphone is falling off my desk.
Because we can hear it.
Oh no, sorry, everyone. Sorry. It's
one other thing I will add to Flea is, even people that don't know what bass guitar even is, they know Flea. Like, the dude just has such a presence, both sonically and on stage. He's impossible to ignore. Yeah. Real good shout.
It's
bringing up Flea.
One of those people that is, like, say, like more famous than the band he's in almost. Because you're right, he is a household name, and for a bass player to become that, they're doing something right. You know, even if it is getting your wang out on stage, you know, maybe that's where I'm going wrong.
Had a sock on it.
yeah,
and that's what we don't like. But yeah, that would probably be my last one. So kind of gone for a bit of a mix of like technique, style, voice, tone, and yeah, just the lines that they write. Really, those kind of combination of things is what I thought about when putting this list together. And this changes over time, you know. But that's the first ones for me. Chris.
Well, interesting one to finish off. So obviously, like as you play the bass more, you discover new things. You know, you figure stuff out by yourself. You find bits that you know you like. Like I tend to find as well as like a working bass player, like a session guy, a cover band musician, whatever, however you want to label it. Sometimes when you're moving through chord progressions, there's just little things you just do all the time. Like I found, like if I'm playing a major chord, I'll move off that major chord kind of like the same way all the time, like in kind of like a more tiny way. You know, like if you're playing a D on the 5th fret of the A string, I'll find myself leaning towards playing the 7th fret of the low E and the 5th fret of the E as well. So kind of like this the 6 and the 5. You know, you're doing that kind of thing. You know, ba bum bum ba. You're doing these kind of bits quite a lot. Or you're sliding up and doing it the octave upwards, or you know, if you're playing a minor chord, let's say it's D minor again, you're doing the 5th fret of that A string, but then I'll be using the C below it and the F above it, the 3rd fret of the D string. You know, dun dun dun. You're doing that dun 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 dun. You're doing that kind of thing, and these little runs and uses of pentatonics. And then as I was sort of progressing with playing a pick in more of a cover band perspective, how I approach like kind of like palm muting and these kind of bits, like this playing sort of evolved, and I started falling back on things. And then about a year ago, I realized, oh, I'm accidentally playing like Paul McCartney. And
I had no clue where that was going.
Yeah,
Yeah, same.
exactly. But but like I realized, like when I finally got round to having to, you know, obviously Beatles songs come up in the cover band world, but whether you choose to learn it properly is completely up to you. And when I finally sort of, there we go.
Get yourself one of these, man.
I know, I'm thinking about it. When I finally like sat down and started actually learning the correct Beatles line to lots of these songs, it was almost like I sort of had this realization of, oh, where Paul was going is kind of like where I want to go. Obviously, this is different for the more experimental style of bassline creations that he did as well, but your simple things like moving through a generic 1-5-6-4 chord progression, you know, like these little passing notes and the use of major and minor pentatonics and stuff. I realized, oh, I am doing that. And it's like when you like a band, you should go and listen to their influences and follow that journey that they will have taken. Like if you like Nirvana, you should probably listen to the Pixies, or if you like Metallica, you should go and listen to, you know,
the Pixies.
Megadeth. Yeah, no,
The Pixies.
you should go and listen to like more, you know, original thrash music. But all pop music, like it or not, makes its way to the Beatles. It just does. Sorry, I don't make the rules. All roads lead to the Beatles. And as I got more into the Beatles, sort of Paul's playing made like a lot of sense to me, because there was this almost strange coincidence of I've accidentally been playing a bit like him with a pick this entire time. So I'll put Paul on there because he's accidentally become a massive bass influence. Granted, like around the corner, if you know what I mean.
Well, it all comes back to Paul.
Get Taco told. Get him told.
I know. He gets really upset when Evelyn leaves.
Oh,
He's just more of a Ringo fan.
It's all right, Andrew. My dogs don't care about me at all. When my other half leaves the house, they're all like, "Where's she gone?" It's you.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh,
Yeah.
chaps.
Oh, yeah. Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney is a great choice. You know, he is, you know, probably one of the most famous bass players of all time. Question mark, and influences so many, and like is all over the place on that fretboard sometimes. You know, all up and down.
Just started playing Day Tripper in a band that I play with, and I feel like every time I like play that first go around, I'm like, wait, how does this song? Because it's kind of a finger twister of the line.
Yeah, it's really cool, and there's loads of like really good warm-up exercises you can get from Paul McCartney bass lines, and it's meticulous. Like when you play Twist and Shout as much as I do, you sit there and go, this song is relentless. And you're playing that and you're singing, you sat there going, oh my God, oh wow, it never ends.
It never ends. Just like this podcast, huh? That's what everyone else thinks.
Oh my God, we've been going on so long.
I know, and we're not even done yet. We're not done yet.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
Chaps, let us move this podcast towards the end, shall we? And we're going to finish things off by giving you, Andrew, because we didn't do this last time, some quick fire questions. In fact, I don't even think Chris was on the podcast at this point when we did it. So these are one word answers. Okay, we're going to go back and forth between Chris and I. We're going to ask you one word answers, no explaining. Maybe on a few, but
one word answer. Okay,
we will go and finish it off with that. Okay, I'm gonna kick things off, Chris, if that's all right.
That is more than fine.
Okay, number 1, pick or fingers?
Fingers.
Number 2, active or passive?
Passive.
Number 3, rounds or flats?
Rounds.
Number 4, 4-string or 5-string?
5.
In-ear monitors or wedges?
IEMs.
P or J?
P.
Desert island bass?
Yeah.
He's pointing, audio listeners. He's pointing. He
It's
pointed at his crotch.
Sarek.
What the hell? I don't know. The Sarek.
Yep.
Okay, the 5-string
Sarek
one.
arm.
Yeah.
The 5. Yep, this is the 5-string Sarek Armitage.
Nice.
What is the best bass effect?
Give me a minute.
No.
I mean, there's. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to not explain. Octave.
Okay. Number 9 is, what's your unpopular bass opinion?
Which one?
So Tornwood, right?
Oh man. Gear is overrated.
Okay.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Last question. It's in 2 parts. Do you like Star Wars? Or is there another universe that you're a fan of?
I want to say yes. I like
Okay.
Star Wars.
Okay. But do you prefer like Lord of the Rings or something like that, or something similar? You know, like a Back to the Future, Star Trek.
Let's roll with Star Wars.
It's. I mean, Andor exists, so I'm okay liking Star Wars.
Okay, we'll do Star Wars. Which Star Wars character would be the best bass player? And you're allowed to explain this one. Chewie?
It's Chewie.
Yeah, Chewie's a keyboard player, man. Come on, grow up.
Oh no!
Chewie with a Moog. Come on.
To be fair, the bass player is normally the tallest and hairiest, as we've discovered on this podcast.
Not 5'10", baby. Not me.
Not a hair on his body.
No. Naked
Smooth
from
like
the
a
chin
dolphin.
down.
No, I just think like he plays that co-pilot role, and that's the bass player to me.
That is a good shout, you know. That is good. Yeah.
That's
fair
fair. Well, if it helps, we won't dwell on it too much because we've told everyone else who listens. But technically, me and Johnny have the same answer. Technically.
Yeah.
Oh, who do you guys say it is?
We went with the Fets for this one. For me, it was for Boba, and my man Chris here was going for Django.
But why?
So for me, it was like his presence says it all. He doesn't need to say anything. He's cool, calm, collective. He's in the corner, and he gets the job done. I mean, until he doesn't, obviously, then he's done. But and similarly, Chris had a similar one, but said that his head gets cut off in the car park, and that's
After the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ian,
I would see them as being like kind of like gearheads. I would definitely see them as more of like guitar players because they're just like all about the gadgets and the flash.
I think
they don't say much.
I think Han Solo is textbook lead guitarist.
He's a singer
I think-
who plays a few chords and he's a
okay.
rhythm guitarist.
That is exactly.
I think Obi-Wan
He shows up late
would
to
be
the
a
gig.
great bass player.
Yeah.
I could agree with
Yeah,
that.
Ian Martin Allison said Mace Windu.
Yeah. Bass Window over there.
Bass Windu.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, chaps, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful time. We're going to talk some more, hopefully more Star Wars, and some more questions that you guys have been asking Andrew over on our Patreon section, which is going to happen right now. But before we do that, Andrew, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, go check out my YouTube channel if you aren't already subscribed to AMP, the bass player. I chose the most SEO friendly name to ever exist for this kind of thing, but I don't know. It still kind of works, I guess. But yeah, check out my YouTube channel, or if you just want to do some music, highly recommend checking out my rock opera called Deep Love, a Ghostly Rock Opera. We do live shows in Utah and Idaho, but we did release a full-length studio album last year that I'm very proud of. I would love it if people check that out.
Amazing. Good recommendations. Chris, what about you, sir?
You can find me quite literally everywhere under That Guy on Bass. I have lots of YouTube videos planned between now and the end of the year, especially now I'm not gigging. I'm going to take the same unrealistic workload and apply it to this channel instead of gigging. Yes, please do a subscribe. Thank you very much, by the way, to everyone who listens to the podcast who already subscribed. I managed to get to 1,000 subscribers in like 9 months, which is amazing. So thank you very, 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 very much. It really does mean a lot to see the fruits of your labor come to fruition. So thank you very much, and lots more planned. Johnny, tell the good people where they can find you.
Spectacular. You can find me in Somerset, England. No, I'm not going to give away the full address. No.
I will.
Oh,
Yeah. You can find me on YouTube. Just type in my name, Jonny Dibble, and the same on Instagram. Give us a subscribe. Give us a follow. It'd be a good time. Once again, if you want to support this podcast financially, if you are that way inclined and that blessed, then we would love you to help us out and keep the lights on here. Any amount is greatly appreciated here in the pocket. So make sure you click the link down in the description to go and check out our Patreon and join that one if you wanted to do so. And some ways to support us for free is to follow us on Instagram and subscribe to us on YouTube, liking videos, posts, etc. Or if you are just an audio listener, maybe you don't have eyes, I don't know. But if you're just listening...
Not made of eyes.
No, exactly. If you are just listening, then please rate this podcast 5 stars on your listening platform of choice. It really helps to reach more people, algorithms, etc. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Tatty bye.